All right, super important concept we're talking about today, and that's the use of outside backs / fullbacks / wingbacks, whatever, their use in possession. To me, this is like a cornerstone of my philosophy on possession, that we will take our back guys who are in a compact defensive shape, and when we get the ball, we will get wide, we will spread the field with width and depth, and we will make you make choices about who you're going to guard. We will make you spread yourself out defensively in the very first phases of the pressure, and we will try to pass through you to improve the chances of our offense. That's the philosophy, and the outside backs, they're super, super important for this because often they're just the open guy. They're just the most open guy on the field. So it's not a hard position to play. It's not an easy position to play. It's just a spot on the field that everyone needs to be aware of, that often this guy is the most open, and we want to hit the open free passes when we can. So how are we looking to use the outside backs? Well, all right, when we win the ball, the idea is our center backs, they're going to get out of their compact defensive shape, and they're going to get real wide. They're going to make opposing strikers or striker choose on who they're going to guard. And this gives an opportunity for the outside backs to push up far, far, far up the field and getting onto the midfield line. And I showed it here with that yellow line in the top picture. We want to put them in that line because that's the first line that we're really looking to break with a pass that kind of gets us right into the offensive phase. So how do we get the ball to the outside back? How do they become the open guy? I have two basic ways here. One is with a second line pass in which we just play around the back four. And the other one, sometimes they just get left in space if a winger or a wingback or outside mid on the other team, they press down, they press to a midfielder or a centerback, and they'll just leave the fullback open. So as you can see here in that first picture, a centerback has the ball, and that's why the blue team has shifted to the left. And if we can switch play quickly, notice the other center back is positioned behind him, so the pass can be in front of him, and he might take a dribble or two into that space, maybe to freeze number 11, the winger, and then we can just play around the back four, play around them. They can't shift horizontally fast enough. Now, they'll be trying to recover from behind diagonally, but we will have an opportunity just through the space and through maybe a good positive first touch, play around them and play through, and now we can play balls behind the back four or play to the feet of the striker or the wingers or something like that. And then here in the second picture, we see the winger has left the outside back on something maybe like a goal kick, and he's pressing the center back. And in this case, the outside back's just wide open, and if anyone can just be used as a link player, like number 10, the midfielder here, can bounce him the ball, we've got him to the open guy. So this is how we're looking to use outside backs. We're not trying to have them 1v1 on the dribble take on the opposing team's wingers. Never, never, never. We're waiting until they're the perfect pass where we can just play around them with a ball just slightly in front of the fullback and they can go on the dribble and take a nice pass themselves, or they're just completely left wide open. Most teams get it wrong because they'll play to the fullback when they're guarded. And this actually is very, very dangerous because of the sideline squeeze, because it's easy for the defenders to guard 1v1 in those situations and to kind of restrict all of the passes possible. So I've broke it down into two situations when the fullback is not open and he gets a pass from a midfielder, from a keeper, from a center back. And I say one when you have a little quick turn and sometimes when you have no turn. So let's look at these situations here on the field. Okay, maybe we got something like a goal kick or just open play. Center back gets the ball, and maybe he's spooked by the striker. Notice the winger is just staying on our fullback here. And we hit him this pass. Now, this is very, very difficult. Well, first we'll say, what if maybe we have a decently skilled player at fullback, and the winger's given him a little space. Not enough that the fullback can clearly beat him with a positive dribble. I don't think that would work. But maybe he just has a little bit of space to turn. Well, there's one obvious pass that's always there, and that's the simple pass right down the line. The pass to the winger right down the line. And this is why you want to kind of start your wingers wide like this, okay? So if the winger just is waiting there, stationary, and we hit this pass, often, you know, the other team's defensive player, they're going to compete, they're going to step to that ball. So whenever you're in this situation and the fullback can take a little turn, he's basically still guarded, but maybe he can face the opposing goal. Maybe he's got 1 second to make a pass, and he doesn't have a lot of angle. This is the pass he has. He has to hit it down the line. I guess he could also lift the ball if he just wants to get rid of it. But if you want to keep possession, he goes down the line. Now the winger has to explosively check back to this ball to beat the player marking him. So this has to be an explosive movement, checking back to the ball. And usually this winger will not have a chance to turn. So he needs to know what he's doing. He needs to know, I need to work down this line and work back to the ball. Then you've noticed we've made some space here. No one's really occupying it. That's where we're going to hit the pass into. But we need someone to be there. The winger, he might be in a lot of pressure. He has to play one touch. So if something like, you know, this is what I like here, rather than this attacking midfielder here coming over here and pulling the defender with him, I like maybe something more like this defensive midfielder here. After the pass, he explodes. He looks to break lines as this pass is being hit from the fullback, and boom, we can 1 or 2 touch using the winger as a wall pass, and now we have a free guy, and we can go right to the offense. So if you ever have the little turn, you know, you can just lift the ball into the space, but the good one is that pass right to the winger's feet, but somebody has to come and fill this space here. You know, maybe the striker could check down into that space, but the whole team has to be aware of our winger. He's about to play wall pass. He has no turn. So someone needs to come over there and give them a pass. Okay, what's the worst situation? That's when our fullback gets the ball like this, and he receives the ball, and he just has no turn. This can be very bad. Why is that? There's no pass really on the inside because he'd be passing through a diagonal line between 10 and 11 here. You might think there's an open guy, but this pass is easily intercepted by the defensive players. And if the fullback just hits in the pass and doesn't move, look, this pass back to the fullback is very easy for a striker on the other team to compete for. What about a pass to the goalkeeper? There is no angle to the goalkeeper, and we don't want to like lift the ball and try to play our goalkeeper in the air. It's just far too dangerous. So in general, this is a situation you want to avoid if you can, but when you do it, everyone has to be aware of the plan. And the plan is when we play this ball where the fullback cannot turn, the centerbacks, they have to know what's going on, and they got to move quickly so that we can switch play. Because we sure as heck ain't turning and going down this side of the field. No, it's not going to happen. So after our center back hits this pass and he's getting a little pressure, he has to drop deeper for this fullback. He has to drop clearly. He's got to get off and drop deeper for him. The other center back here, he's going to have to come inside too and also give a possible angle to the fullback who can't turn, who's wall passing backwards basically as his only option. And so now we've made the striker choose. If he just kind of watches the pass here, then maybe we can play back to the center back, who now has a little bit more space so that when he gets pressure from the striker, boom, he can play to the other center back, and we've kind of played around the pressure. If the striker is persistent, and when the pass is hit to the fullback and the center back tries to move on, if he drops into the space here, well, now he's left an angle for this diagonal pass that can go boom to the opposite center back. And you see this a lot at the pro level. The striker will take away the near center back, and a fullback will go all the way kind of diagonally across the formation. It's got to be hit with pace so no midfielder steps onto the ball, and he just accesses the free center back right there, and then you just kind of immediately broken the press. So understand, when this guy gets the ball, the fullback, and he can't turn, we got to be careful here. This is a bad situation. He's about to get squeezed to the sideline, lose a 1v1, get the ball stolen from him, or be forced to hit a really dangerous pass. So center backs, keepers, y'all have to, or even midfielders that are just in the area, y'all have to work for this guy to get behind him and to give him angles so that we can get the ball out and hopefully maybe do something like play around the pressure and then get onto the offense phase on the other side of the field. Okay, so fullbacks, very important, often the open guy. We're trying to have all passes to them basically be a positive pass that breaks the midfield line already. If you ever have to hit a pass to the fullback when they are guarded, be aware the whole team has to start moving, has to start giving them angles, especially the players behind him, the center backs. That's all I got. Hopefully you learned about the importance of the fullback.